If you like audiobooks or audio shows, check out a free trial of Audible. Just click the link in the description.
Welcome to MINDSHOck. This is your host, Bruce McGuire, with an extremely mind-shocking, mind-bending, mind-warping topic for all the logical legends out there listening. We are talking interdimensional time travel. You can find plenty of information on interdimensional travel, probably not as much as on time travel, but what about interdimensional time travel, and how would that affect all of the variables within conventional time travel, parallel timelines, and much more? We are, of course, going to discuss all of this in typical MINDSHOck fashion with logic and reason at the forefront, not falling for any silly logical fallacies like pretty much everywhere else, the mainstream and otherwise. As always, if you want to help support the MINDSHOck podcast, help spread logic and reason in a world where it is quickly going extinct, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, like and comment on more videos if you're still not getting those notifications. That seems to be how the YouTube algorithm works. You could also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Help support the channel. That way, get access to exclusive streams and chats. Like and share Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. Patreons do get priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcast, or requests. You could also be a guest in the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. All right, if you haven't checked out the MINDSHOck series on time travel, check that out. We go over in depth the very nature of time travel itself, different methodologies and theories on how it could be done, whether it has been done, and the implications thereof. However, we haven't really specifically touched upon interdimensional travel other than on the Shadow People podcast series. If you haven't checked it out, check that out. I postulate one of the main Shadow People theories is that Shadow People themselves are some kind of interdimensional beings, interdimensional travelers. Now, what we're discussing today is interdimensional time travel. And not just by necessarily advanced beings or whatever kinds of beings that are able to do so. But if, let's say, the U.S. government, for example, will be doing more episodes on declassified and theorized experiments within the CIA on interdimensional traveling, remote viewing, all of these things that coincidence theorists pretend never existed, they're actual funded projects within the government, to no surprise of any conspiracy theorists or critical thinkers. So, what does this all mean? There could obviously be government agents or individuals working for the government who are experimenting with this type of travel, a la Time Cop, the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie from the 90s, but perhaps it is deeper than that. Why wouldn't there be different dimensions in different timelines? So, there are, of course, a few different theories regarding time travel. Some believe there's only one timeline. So if you go back in the past and alter the timeline, it alters the same timeline since there's only one. Massive repercussions, butterfly effects, and otherwise. However, others believe that there are infinite timelines and you can pass from one timeline to another. What I'm going to discuss here, are there infinite dimensions for each of the infinite or near infinite timelines? And how would that work? See, why a lot of people say, okay, well, obviously, logically, burden of proof is on positive claims. I'm not saying it's true. I'm asking the question, is it true? Is it possible? How would we know if it was? So I'm not making the claim as a positive. I'm exploring theoretical possibilities. So obviously, if the evidence hasn't been presented, nobody should take that as the truth. However, why? I'm going to ask another question. Why wouldn't it be the case? Obviously, as humans, I mean, all of human knowledge can basically be rounded to zero in terms of how much knowledge there is or the accuracy of knowledge. See, a lot of these coincidence theorists, a lot authority worshipping cultists, the Dunning-Kruger crowd, they pretend and hallucinate that we're living in some kind of magical times, and so-called experts or authorities in this time, for whatever reason, they can't be mistaken, or if they are mistaken for whatever magical reason, it can't be by more than a small margin. But humans, modern humans, basically know nothing. It can be rounded to zero, or the knowledge that humans think they have, particularly institutional authorities and otherwise, the knowledge actually isn't true. They just think it's true. Fallibility, corruption, all of that. We're not going to get into that. But given how little is actually known, is it really beyond the realm of plausibility that there are infinite or near infinite timelines, and there are infinite or near infinite dimensions in each timeline? If that is the case, would it be possible to time and dimension travel simultaneously? Not just possible, but particularly if you don't have the technology to do it properly, would so-called side effects occur? How many humans have been lost to time travel or interdimensional time travel? I don't really want to get into the Philadelphia experiment and teleportation and all of that, because obviously those were also real projects. Whether they were successful or not, that's another matter. I believe it's been public knowledge that they've teleported tiny pieces of matter. I haven't actually looked at that in a while, but as of even 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago, didn't some scientists somewhere, they had some kind of, whatever, this was all public, they teleported some kind of minute piece of matter, but whatever. It kind of goes back to, okay, well, whatever is public technology, obviously top secret military tech would be, again, the old number floated is roughly 50 years ahead. I am not claiming that's true or untrue, but clearly there is some cutting edge military tech that civilians would not know about. So if there was some kind of tech to time travel or dimension travel, why would it be done perfect? Why would it go off without a hitch? I mean, experiments are botched all the time on a small scale. Why would something on a much bigger scale not be botched? Or have errors, whatever percentage error rate. What would the side effects be? I mean, this is actually another theory I haven't mentioned on the Shadow People podcast, but what if Shadow People are botched time travelers? And they're kind of stuck in between dimensions and timelines. Same thing with ghosts, per se. What if ghosts... If there is some kind of mechanism where, I don't want to go too much into the comic book realm and X-Men and teleporting while grabbing somebody, so whoever you're in direct contact with, you can take them with you. What if there were accidents in time travel where people kind of went back and accidentally bumped into somebody and jumped dimensions within different timelines, and there was crazy crossover? Is that why some of these ghosts are so angry and vengeful? They're not even in their own timeline. And I should probably do a dedicated podcast on that within just ghosts. Is it possible ghosts are some kind of timeline dimensional, we're involved in some kind of timeline or dimensional glitches in some capacity to not even their own knowledge? Or conversely, what if even in the Victorian era or in possibly parallel dimensions or different timelines where technology, I don't know, maybe there was a highly advanced steampunk Tartarian type civilization with, the wardrobe to boot? What if they were doing some kind of time travel or interdimensional experiments and people got lost? They jumped to timelines and dimensions that they didn't intend to. And now they're kind of haunting them forever because there's some kind of a side effect with their matter, their composition. And they're kind of stuck in a glitch or in a loop even. Some people believe within the realm of ghosts and hauntings and in that sphere of research that certain ghosts are going through the same motions on an infinite loop. Now, is that because there's some kind of a glitch and we're seeing into another timeline or dimension? Or what I'm postulating for the purpose of this podcast, which I'm not sure anybody's ever postulated before, was there some kind of glitch that teleported them? Either, again, unbeknownst to them, or they were actively participating in some kind of advanced experiment from a different timeline or dimension. So when you don't fall for false dichotomies, these silly fallacies who say, okay, well, maybe interdimensional time travel is possible, but that means that time travel is definitely not possible, or vice versa. Time travel is possible, but interdimensional travel is definitely not possible. Those are all logical fallacies. Here on MindShock, we don't fall for silly logical fallacies, or at least we attempt not to. The motto here, of course, is that the only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. So when you're working with this interdimensional time travel theory, it kind of opens, it really opens the possibilities and the variables. I mean, everything from Bigfoot to aliens and ghosts. Are these all some kind of byproduct of manipulation? And not necessarily human manipulation. Who's to say that some of these extraterrestrials, again, not necessarily that they're from other planets, but they're from other dimensions? To all the flat earthers out there that were going to jump on that one. If they're from other dimensions, timelines and or dimensions, or simply other realms, like not necessarily in the heliocentric globe model, or the heliocentric universe model, there's just different realms possible. What if it's more akin to Norse mythology or any of these other ancient cosmologies where it's not necessarily other planets in a space, it's simply other realms, and they're all part of the same realm or a greater realm and their sub-realms, whatever the case may be. If these aliens, if they're doing some kind of time travel or interdimensional experiments and things got warped or went wrong, maybe that's how they're here. Maybe they don't even want to be here. And of course, let's not fall for false dichotomies. I mean, there could be other aliens that intentionally traveled here, etc. There could be Project Bluebeam and the U.S. government faking the existence of aliens and spacecraft. But there could also be, possibly within this interdimensional time travel theory, where there's some kind of side effects, some kind of an effect, and all of these beings are not necessarily intentionally here. And if there's glitches, kind of like windows or portals, whatever you want to call them, perhaps they're not permanently here. And that's why they can't be found. All the scientism cultists, authority-worshipping cultists, the Dunning-Kruger crowd, coincidence theorist goofs, they pretend and hallucinate, oh, well, there's no body this, there's no evidence this. If it's something akin to windows, portals, glitches, etc., why would any of these paranormal creatures, if these cryptids are not necessarily flesh or blood, and even if they are flesh and blood, if they're kind of glitching between timelines and dimensions, both, and it's all intertwined, and that's why they appear for brief periods. Maybe they're confused, scared, angry. Maybe that's why sometimes there are attacks, sometimes they're not. They glitch one way, then they glitch another way, and they're in another timeline and dimension. And I mean, this is MindShock, so I guess I'll go over this one last point, because, I mean, this one will really shock the mind. What if we as humans here on our earthly realm, what if everyone's always kind of glitching and jumping timelines and dimensions, possibly without even knowing it? Is that related to the Mandela effect? Is that related to dreams or deja vu? What if it's not necessarily a glitch brought about by some kind of rogue technology or people messing with the fabric of the universe? What if this is the way it always was? However the universe was designed, what if it's part of it? What if stargates and all of this interdimension time travel, jumping and teleportation, what if it's kind of part of the natural laws of the universe or our realm? Some people know how to utilize it, some people don't. Almost like cheat codes in a video game. Like it's designed with them in mind. Because one aspect of time travel I kind of found interesting. I think this was actually was this on a UFO Files episode, possibly? This was on some kind of UFO documentary series. They had an episode on time travel, and one guy in particular was talking about time travel almost like in a hypnotic state where you're using your own will and thoughts to time travel. No device, no time travel machine, no generator generating a vortex of any kind or any kind of time wormholes or any of that stuff. It all is done through the mind. So it's possibly related to remote viewing, but actually also taking yourself physically into another timeline and or dimension line if we're going down that line of thinking. So if the universe has certain laws or whatnot, and they can be, I don't know if exploited is the right word, perhaps utilized is the best word. They can be utilized to time travel, dimension travel, and again, doesn't always necessarily go perfectly, but it's possibly built in to the fabric of our reality. So what do all the MindShock listeners think about this theory? And there's also an Illuminati tie-in. This is MindShock, of course. If there was some kind of secret society or powers that be, rulers and controllers of the world throughout the ages, like some allege, if they had knowledge of this, either given it to them by others or however they got the knowledge, they could obviously use that to manipulate everything about the world, not just in this timeline or dimension, but in others as well. Would that explain a lot of the oddities and anomalies and various different conspiracies? It certainly opens the door to explaining quite a few variables, and as always, I am not claiming anything is true or untrue. I am just asking the questions. So all the MindShock listeners, feel free to chime in with your own thoughts, theories, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind in the comment section. As always, if you find the MindShock podcast interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and of course, mind-shocking, you can help support the podcast, donate to our PayPal, or you can become a YouTube member right here on YouTube for access to exclusive streams and chats. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.
If you like audiobooks or audio shows, check out a free trial of Audible. Just click the link in the description.
Welcome to MindShock. This is your host, Bruce McGuire. Today we are once again touching upon interdimensional entities. In the sphere of the paranormal and the supernatural, a lot of people actually frown on the idea of creatures being interdimensional, whether it's in cryptozoology, whatever. I mean, even people who believe in ghosts or some kind of poltergeist type entities, a lot of people really shy away, believers and non-believers alike, from the interdimensional angle, whereas from a logical point of view, as someone who has studied these topics quite extensively for many, many years, I don't want to say I've come to a conclusion, because we're not going to fall for black and white logical fallacies or false dichotomies. I'm not claiming that there are no physical flesh and blood Bigfoot or other creatures out there. I'm not claiming that the spirits of the undead do not still roam the earth in some capacity. I am just saying that there might also be interdimensional entities that account for a certain percentage, possibly a very large percentage, of these phenomena. And that is what we're going to be getting into even further. As always, if you enjoy the MindShock podcast, you want to help support the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. You can also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube for access to exclusive streams and chats. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like and share Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. Patrons do get priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcast, or requests. You can also be a guest on the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. The main point, though, if you're gonna comment, at least understand what is being alleged. MindShock is all about a logical, comprehensive approach to any and all topics, particularly in ways that the mainstream is just too terrified to cover, because, of course, the cult of authority worship, scientism, it depends upon people abandoning the scientific method with controls and abandoning all logic and reason. Because when you just have blind faith in corrupt authorities on the internet box, you don't need to actually think for yourself. You don't need to logically, objectively, neutrally, scientifically examine different theories. Like, for example, certain creatures, ghosts, monsters, whatever, trickster spirits, aliens even, being interdimensional entities. Because if they were interdimensional entities, does that account for more things than any other theory? Particularly, if you haven't checked out the MindShock podcast on analog versus digital, I go over Bigfoot, but other entities as well. If, again, for whatever reason, a lot of authority-worshipping cultists and scientism priests, they don't understand that, which is really bizarre, because from science itself, science claims there's all these other dimensions, so some of them would include light frequencies not visible to the human eye, theoretically not recordable on digital mediums, possibly even analog medium. However, maybe some of them are recordable on analog medium, like film. Is that why perhaps the Patterson-Gimlin footage is the best known footage of Bigfoot? And if Bigfoot is an interdimensional creature, again, I am not alleging anything is true or untrue. This is MindShock, where the only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. But Bigfoot, whether a flesh and blood creature or not, or a flesh and blood creature, but also possibly another entity that could resemble Bigfoot, could also be an interdimensional creature. And then a ghost of an interdimensional creature that died might be a ghost and is also another set of possible entities. So again, we're not excluding anything on MindShock, because how would we know? Only goofs would hallucinate they know something for sure, or they know what something is not if they don't have enough information. There's not enough information to prove it. You would have to be omniscient. You'd have to know all these secrets of the universe in order to say, oh yeah, it's definitely not that, it's definitely not that. I mean, the mountain gorilla wasn't officially recognized by science until what? The 1900s. Somewhere around there, all these so-called species said to be extinct by the scientism priests, and then they turn up, and then all of a sudden the scientism priests look like the goofs they are, because they were just preaching religion, because they didn't check every square inch of the earth and ocean. They don't know. I mean, the level of silliness of the cult of scientism, especially in regards to cryptozoology or anything in the paranormal or the supernatural, I mean, it's just mind-shocking. So, regarding the interdimensional theory, it kind of covers all the bases, because that would explain why a lot of digital recording devices cannot record them. It would also explain if there is some kind of interference, ghosts, interdimensional creatures, if they are interdimensional creatures, it would explain why electronic devices would malfunction. Same thing with aliens during alien abductions. Electronic devices are said to stop working. Is that because in any kind of interdimensional interaction, there's some kind of radiation, electromagnetic or otherwise, that prevents the functioning of these devices, which would make it pretty much impossible to get good recordings unless, of course, you're using analog film. Now, what makes it difficult is because there were, of course, fakes way back when. People were faking and hoaxing Bigfoot and ghosts and all that. It's all good fun, just like people fake and hoax everything. I mean, they make fake everything, trick shots in basketball. That doesn't mean there aren't people out there that can't do it. That just means those particular videos were faked. Just like I use this example all the time. If somebody's making videos of fake chickens in their backyard, that doesn't mean that there aren't real chickens also. So showing examples of fakes, that just proves that that particular example is a fake. That's all that proves. So it's difficult to say, because after the internet, there's a lot more hoaxers, because now people are making money online. They want clicks. They want those viral videos. I actually haven't done a good comparison of, let's say, the birth of YouTube to now in regards to people trying to make fake Bigfoot videos or fake ghost videos to try to go viral, so to speak. Perhaps that was done more so 10 years ago or 5 years ago than it is being done today. I don't know. I haven't done the comparison. I don't have those stats. I don't even know how you would get those stats. But there were hoaxers back in the day as well, pre-internet. Again, people just looking for attention, screwing around, possibly just wanting to get in the newspaper, whatever. Or just for kicks. I mean, people do things for kicks. So it is difficult to say exactly. One of my favorite examples of people that allege the Patterson-Gimlin footage is fake, the coincidence there, so to speak, they say, oh, what a coincidence. Patterson and Gimlin are going out to film a Bigfoot. Oh, and by golly, they actually ended up filming a Bigfoot. Well, how is that strange? Just like the ghost hunters going... If you're going fishing, you might catch a fish. If you're going into an environment with the goal of doing something, you might actually be able to do it. I mean, heck, even the snow leopard that was barely ever spotted in Afghanistan, was the first time it was ever recorded in the past, 15 years or something like that? I forgot the exact date. But apparently, this thing had been seen by people, but for whatever reason, it's just really hard to photograph or get on video. And these people had to camp out for endless hours in this remote terrain in Afghanistan just to get a glimpse of it. I think it was National Geographic that did that. Photographers and videographers working for National Geographic. So, by golly, they went to see this semi-mythological white snow leopard or whatever that it was only rumored to have been seen. And by golly, they got legitimate footage. I mean, it's... Because if they're going into an area where Bigfoot is reported to have been sighted, if Bigfoot is real, of course there's a possibility they might get some footage of it. It's not rocket science. But, I mean, the whole thing's hilarious. Obviously, the scientism cult in their relation to anything that might be deemed paranormal or supernatural. They obviously only have faith and fallacy to desperately grasp to maintain these so-called official narratives, to maintain their devout membership in the cult of scientism, because the unknown is just too scary. So, if there is some kind of an issue with digital mediums, digital recording devices, and interdimensional entities, that would explain the seeming lack of evidence. Now, what I have postulated in the early Bigfoot episodes as well, instead of having all these trail cams record digital, they need to get some billionaires to just invest in getting all of this expensive film to see, and especially put them side by side. I mean, let's do real experiments with controls. Would the analog film record a Bigfoot if that Bigfoot is interdimensional? Now, if the Bigfoot is not interdimensional, then of course digital videos should be able to record them as well. But if they are interdimensional, or again, if both exist, if there are non-interdimensional Bigfoots, and then there's also interdimensional Bigfoot, then the interdimensional ones might not be able to be recorded on analog devices, whereas the flesh and blood Bigfoot would. The other thing that's kind of weird, even the so-called Bigfoot believers, so to speak, they basically poo-poo the idea of an interdimensional creature, which is kind of weird, because, I mean, it's hypocritical in a way, but possibly even more hypocritical, because everybody thinks they're crazy. Why would an interdimensional Bigfoot not exist? I mean, do they have all of the dimensions figured out? Do they know all the laws of physics of the universe? I mean, look at the supposed gain of knowledge over just the past 100 years. What will humans know in another couple thousand years? Although if the knowledge of the difference between a man and a woman goes lost, as it might be going these days, then who knows? The human race might not survive that long. But if it does, if humans are still around, in another couple thousand years, what will they discover about all of these other possible dimensions? I actually don't know the official number. How many dimensions are officially recognized by the cult of scientism? Supposedly there's a whole bunch. I mean, I've seen articles stating is it 18 or something? Like, there's a lot of dimensions that have been so-called discovered and mapped. And then, of course, I mean, near infinite theorized. I mean, I don't even know what actually, you know what? I think there was an article that was like 20-something were so-called confirmed to exist. I don't know how they confirmed those. And then, obviously, hundreds or thousands more theorized to exist. But what will be known in a couple thousand years? So it is really strange how a lot of so-called supernatural, paranormal, cryptozoological believers, they really don't consider the interdimensional aspect, where that would explain quite a lot. It would explain quite a lot. And it would also account for numbers. I'm actually doing an upcoming episode on Bigfoot bodies, because of a lot of coincidence theorists and scientism cultists, they claim that if Bigfoot were real, bodies would have been discovered. Well, here's the thing. If there is a Bigfoot conspiracy, and if you haven't checked out the Bigfoot government conspiracy on MINDSHOCK, we go over it in extensive details, and there needs to be a reason to keep Bigfoot under wraps, then there would have been bodies, and those bodies would have been covered up, and I'm actually going to go through all of that. And of course, if that is the case, there's no such thing as a perfect cover-up. So if bodies were discovered by civilians, there would be records. There would be people talking, even if they were ordered not to, because that's just the nature of humans. The amount of whistleblowers in the world is not zero on any given topic. It's just not zero. Whether they're believed or not, that's a whole nother matter. And sometimes, perhaps, they keep physical evidence. So we'll be going over that. Watch that. That should be dropping in the next week or two. But the interdimensional angle, when you're looking at the numbers, when you're trying to compare the amount of Bigfoot sightings with the supposed lack of bodies, or even if there are bodies, I'm going to go over them. Let's assume that all the Bigfoot bodies I'm going to go over are real, and we even 10x the number. It still doesn't quite match the sheer number of sightings and the historical accounts of Bigfoot. There should be a lot more. But if a certain percentage of them are describing interdimensional entities, all of a sudden the numbers add up a lot more. Same thing with ghosts, same thing with a lot of these other supposed paranormal supernatural creatures. If they're actually interdimensional creatures, or at least a portion of them, the interdimensional explanation accounts in rectifying the number of sightings versus physical evidence. And that is something I don't believe can be argued when you, again, look through all the testimonies. I mean, even if you assume 90% of people are lying or mistaken, that still leaves quite a lot of account of so-called paranormal supernatural creatures. When we add in the possibility of them being interdimensional, all of a sudden you can match a lot of these variables much better. Same thing with aliens. And I've actually gone over those theories extensively as well. You can check out the alien conspiracy theories on MINDSHOCK as well. We've also gone over some ghost hauntings. We'll be doing a lot more on MINDSHOCK. Plenty more to come regarding that. But I did just want to touch upon the interdimensional explanation really being quite apt when approaching a lot of these topics. And for those that claim it's impossible, it's weird. What grounds do they have to stand on to claim it's impossible? And then again, this wouldn't be MINDSHOCK if we didn't touch upon the simulation theory. If all of existence, if all our reality is a simulated reality, why wouldn't there be interdimensional type creatures? I mean, in any video game, you can have things manifesting out of the ether, just popping up, popping out, almost like Easter eggs. It'd be kind of funny for the designers of the universe, if this is our universe, a simulated reality of some kind of holographic simulated reality, it would make sense that there'd be Easter egg type creatures just for kicks that the so-called programmers would have put in, if for nothing, just to mess with people and watch the reactions, and they'd get a kick out of how most of the NPCs couldn't even consider or logically and neutrally analyze some of these accounts. It's just downright hilarious when you look at it from that vantage point. And on MindShock, we try to look at every vantage point without falling for any of these silly logical fallacies. So I hope you guys enjoyed another edition of the MindShock podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, find it interesting and informative and entertaining, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Help us get more mind-shocking content out there with logic and reason in the forefront in a world where it is quickly going extinct, which has never been more obvious than in the past year or two. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like and share it. Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, Patreon. Patrons to get priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcast, or requests. You can also be a guest in the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time. This is MINDSHOCK. I am Bruce McGuire, here with
Maxwell Powers.
and tonight's topic is bizarre, like most of them. We are going to be discussing the possible interdimensionality of Bigfoot.
Shit.
Is Bigfoot an interdimensional creature, or is he flesh and blood?
Shit.
Sasquatch, Yeti, Wendigo. It's got countless names all across the world. It's been sighted on every continent. It's a yowie in Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on every continent. So one of the major strikes against the existence of a Bigfoot or Sasquatch creature is the fact that no body has been brought to mainstream public attention. Supposedly, there have been a few shot. People have claimed to have shot them and
what happened?
had photographs. I don't know, body disappeared. Weird. The usual weird stuff.
Yeah,
that
they
happens
run
to
away
people.
and they make it out alive and that kind of
Or I don't know, some of these people disappeared after claiming to have shot a Bigfoot, so who knows?
Huh.
You know, conspiracy theories abound about the government coming in, or taking them away, taking the body, whatever. But, you know, not a lot of evidence. And of course, there is the DNA study, the Ketchum study, which actually have DNA samples, I think over 150 blood, saliva, and hair samples, and fecal matter from Bigfoot,
Okay.
identified as a creature
Outside.
not known to man. So they checked millions of species in the database, and this is not any of them. Now, there's a lot of controversy, obviously, over the Ketchum study, and it's been, you know, there have been a few hit pieces against it. The peer reviews were silenced. A scientific journal was going to publish a peer-reviewed study of the Ketchum DNA study, but it was sabotaged, and supposedly emails were leaked of peer review, that it was peer reviewed and it did pass peer review. So again, let's put that aside of the flesh and blood creature. If Bigfoot is interdimensional, and of course an interdimensional Bigfoot would not exclude a flesh and blood Bigfoot from also existing. So there could be both. We don't know. But the interdimensional theory has been around for a bit. It hasn't been quite as popular until Scott Carpenter's blog, where he actually captures hundreds and hundreds of Bigfoot on video.
Okay.
You ever seen those videos, Maxwell?
Well, I don't know. I've only seen a few.
So there's all these little faces in some of the Bigfoot videos. He's got like 20 Bigfoot in the same video.
Okay.
But it's hard to make out because of digital artifacting. And if they're interdimensional creatures, you would need to film it with analog film. Supposedly that's why the Patterson-Gimlin footage, the most famous Bigfoot film from 1967, that was the most famous. That was shot on film and it's very clear.
Yeah.
And it's been remastered in high definition and by M.K. Davis.
Okay.
And no relation to Rook Davis.
Okay.
M.K. Davis, who you can see the sole of the foot. You can see that there's no eye for a mask.
When they digitally mastered that,
They remastered it for the film. Yeah.
they saw the sole of the foot.
Yeah, you can see that it's not a boot or a shoe.
Oh,
And then you could also see there's no separation from the eye to the face or from the lip.
Separation as
if it was a mask,
depicting a mask.
Right.
Right.
And then we're talking about the 60s here.
Yeah.
So there's, even today, there's not really a suit.
They don't have that
Yeah.
amazing
Right.
mask
You could also
technology
see
back then.
you could also see some kind of a wound in the thigh of the Bigfoot. So it's very detailed, and of course the proportions of the arms are off. So if it couldn't be a human unless they were using some weird extension for the hands.
Right.
But then they were already used. So it's I don't know. It's definitely one of the best pieces of evidence.
Okay.
Now in our modern age today, everything's digital with cell phones and cameras. Supposedly with ghosts, if ghosts are real, once again, taking a skeptical view of both sides is what I would recommend.
Right.
You shouldn't believe ghosts are real. You shouldn't believe ghosts are not real either because you don't know. Same thing with Bigfoot. Taking a skeptical position for everything is probably the most intelligent. So, if they are interdimensional creatures, they could be causing some kind of electromagnetic frequency radiation or disruption that would prevent their capture on video, or at least their clear capture on video.
Wait, you're saying that they're? It seems like you're saying that they're more intelligent than humans. Is that what you're saying? Because
Yes.
they can travel at will, or like time travel at will, or
Possibly. One of the
interdimensionally travel
theories
at
is
will.
also that they can communicate with infrasound. So we have infrared,
Yeah.
visually infrasound, so they can make paralyzing communications to humans, whereas a human could possibly even have paralysis or amnesia or whatever to not detect the Bigfoot. There's pros and cons to both the theories. I think a flesh and blood creature could survive because in all that vast wilderness, especially if they're near extinct, so if there's not that many of them, they could possibly survive. And if their entire evolution depended on their invisibility to humans and other predators,
Yeah.
then they evolved specifically to evade humans. So they could be flesh and blood, but the interdimensional theory solves a lot of problems because if they're not permanent residents in our reality,
Yeah.
in our universe, and they come from a parallel universe, they wouldn't really be leaving a lot of tracks or hair or whatever. They'd be going in and out.
Okay.
So what do you think of this theory, Maxwell?
Well, I don't know. Like seeing a Bigfoot is bizarre enough, but like the interdimensional theories adds more to the mystery.
Especially if they have telepathic and infrasound abilities.
Yeah. It's just I mean, so wait, who first came up with this theory?
Interdimensional Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Technically, it's been around forever because I mean, there's stories from Mount Shasta in California. It's like a sacred interdimensional vortex portal type site. They linked even Bigfoot with Hollow Earth. I mean, there's people linking Bigfoot with everything. I did a previous podcast on the Bigfoot UFO connection and Bigfoot cases that have been seen with UFOs, and some of the theories.
Really?
Yeah, some of the theories there are that Bigfoot is actually have been put on Earth as the Earth is kind of its prison. So it's kind of a prison colony for Bigfoot. So they just drop them off here so they don't have to deal with them on their planet.
Right.
Or that Bigfoot is some kind of weird experiment and the aliens drop it off here to see what'll happen. So they monitor it kind of like a zoo. So, yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's weird.
So
I just don't see the benefit of if it was an experiment or whatever to see a Bigfoot creature.
well,
interact with humans.
other theories on Bigfoot is that Bigfoot is a genetically engineered monster by the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And it's just let loose to kill and people. There's quite a little bit. There's some evidence for this theory. I mean, there's supposedly there was a whistleblower from a U.S. government hit team that specialized in exterminating Bigfoot or dogmen. And the dogmen are a whole other subject, which we'll get into in a different podcast. But as far as Bigfoot goes, you know, what's the reason for any of the experiments? I mean, some of the experiments people just want to see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough to decipher, you know, based on motive. I don't ever really like to go by motive. I like to go on actual hard evidence.
I think, you know, every time I hear about Bigfoot, like, or, you know, people talk about it, I always, like, fantasize how I would respond if I saw a Bigfoot. I think everyone does that. I'm sure secretly or whatever.
I don't really do that, but okay. I've actually never done that.
Really? You've never done, like, like,
Not really.
I always imagine myself, like, in a forest. Let's say I'm just hiking or whatever. I'm just hanging out. And all of a sudden, I see a Bigfoot eating berries or something. Like, I wonder what I would do. Would I, let's say if I have a cell phone, would I take photos, or would I, or a video, or would I forget, or would I freeze up and just stare, like, and in disbelief, or in shock where my feet are frozen?
You probably wouldn't want to make any sudden movements.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that, and I don't know. Would I be brave enough to go slowly to my left pocket, take out my phone, turn on the camera, and
You'd be paralyzed by fear.
and hopefully I don't make enough noise to have him turn around? Or would I really actually want him to turn around so I can actually capture this thing and solve the mystery forever? Like, at last.
Or would you pull out your gun and shoot it?
Or if I don't have a gun, if I do have a gun and shoot it, would I pull it out and shoot it and then put it in a cage and then have the world see it?
Well, there've been
I don't know. Like
there've been
to me,
several-
that would be unethical. Like I don't know if I want to shoot a damn
Yeah, I would.
like an innocent creature. Like if
Of
he's never,
course.
but if he comes around, shows his fangs, gets angry, and
Tries
jumps
to kill you,
10
yeah.
feet towards me, then I'll shoot him. Then I'll put it in the zoo or whatever, or make like $1 million.
There have been a few encounters where Bigfoot people have shot at Bigfoot or big feet.
I saw. Okay. Yeah,
And the interdimension, supposedly the bullets had no effect in certain cases. So that's, in the interdimensional theory, if it's not a flesh and blood creature,
yeah.
it doesn't exist in our dimension. Or another theory is that they're kind of there's certain window areas. So when we see a Bigfoot, or when someone sees Bigfoot, it's not necessarily that Bigfoot is an intelligent creature that intentionally jumped to our dimension. That Bigfoot could be in his dimension on a parallel Earth, minding his own business, and for whatever reason,
We tend to see it.
yeah, there's like a glitch
Like
in the space-time
and then all of a sudden
continuum,
they disappear.
and we can see into another dimension briefly.
That's an interesting. I like that. That's kind of cool.
Some people tie that into ghosts as well, just glitches.
I saw this. I saw this on TV once. They actually, it's not Bigfoot, but it's like a creature that's actually like hip height. It looks like a little Bigfoot.
A skunk ape?
I think they refer to it as like a hobbit. The neighborhood referred to it as a hobbit.
Okay.
And they actually there were a lot of witnesses that this scientist came over and I don't know. That was I forgot what the whole deal was, but I found that interesting.
It was a real creature?
Well, a lot of people claim that they saw this little creature. Yeah,
I mean,
and it's like common in the.
In China, is this in China? There's the
there was
monkey man of China.
Really?
Yep. I mean, there's all Bigfoot.
How many witnesses?
I don't know. I think there's been quite a few cases.
It's weird because sometimes like when a lot of people are like this mystical minded type, superstitious, like they kind of just pass around rumors and they just believe it themselves. But that's not always the case. So sometimes they really do see this creature and they're pretty honest with it and they kind of just accept the fact that they see this creature. They're not afraid. I
think more often than not, the witness, whether it's UFO, Bigfoot, ghosts, I think more often than not, the witness believes what they're saying, even if that's not what reality was. So people saying, "Oh, this witness is incredible," they made up the story for attention. I think I
rarely believe that it's for attention because I don't think. Not
you
a lot of people are like
crazy.
Yeah, not a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, so a small number of people will do that. They'll try to get your. Yeah. Some people are like that. They like the attention, but I don't know. That's kind of like a useless time, waste of time.
Yeah, I don't think that's a large percentage.
But it's funny how people are like, they dismiss a lot of people based on that.
We know what the weird thing is. Florida is one of the leading sites for Bigfoot. One of the leading.
Yeah, I found that interesting.
Sites.
You guys, I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah.
Why South Florida? I mean, what is it?
I don't think it's not South. It's all of Florida.
All of Florida. Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't think there's too many. Every state has sightings. So,
what's the number one?
I don't know. I had it up before. I think it's Washington. Is it Washington State? I think Washington State.
Get out of here.
New York State has a lot too, actually. Washington State.
How about most recent ones? Like, do they go in cycles? Like
there are waves. Yes.
Yeah, there's so that's interesting. Well, where's the latest wave?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's been a huge wave in a while, but there's just isolated sightings. And Canada has quite a few sightings too because of all the wilderness.
Yeah.
But there's some really creepy recordings of I think the name of the site is called Sasquatch Central, I believe, and there's a Sasquatch research group where they actually record. They go camping in these supposed Sasquatch areas, and they've recorded Sasquatch calls.
Oh, I remember.
And it's really creepy. It's really creepy because
the sounds have never been produced in.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like anything else, and they've had.
I remember watching that.
They've had researchers and scientists analyze it over and over again, and
they can't find an animal that can produce
not even
that sound.
close. Yeah.
I remember that one. It was like, ooh, like it's not a
really
monkey,
weird.
it's not a gorilla, it's not a.
I mean, it almost sounds. It's like a mix of a caveman and something else. It's weird. It's like there's a slight human tint to it.
Yeah.
But it's really weird.
It's
So the next thing I wanted to kind of talk about is how would you prove a telepathic interdimensional Bigfoot is real? Because if it's interdimensional and it's telepathic, so kind of, how would you ever prove that that is real?
I don't think
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what kind of proof would be demanded? I mean, obviously, everybody wants a body. And here's the thing that's tough. Like, let's say you had a body, like some people have claimed to have a body. What
Really?
kind of
People
stuff?
think that they had a
A
body?
couple people have claimed to have
So
shot
what
a
the hell
Bigfoot.
they do with the
They
body?
put it. Someone claimed to have put it in a freezer.
So what happened to the freezer?
I don't know. You're going into Bigfoot lore now.
That's crazy. I mean,
Look it up. Look it up. Man that shot Bigfoot.
That's crazy. You're sitting on evidence. And who claims he shot and killed Bigfoot shares story and video with WGN, Chicago Tribune.
Yeah, that's good.
What the hell?
Chicago Tribune, baby.
Man who claims he shot, killed Bigfoot shares story and video with WGN. Rick Dyer says he shot and killed Bigfoot and is taking the body on tour around the world. When was this?
There have been supposedly claims of bodies, but if it's interdimensional, again, so now we have two different options. If it's interdimensional and we're seeing it as a glitch into another dimension, then you wouldn't be able to capture it, or it's not a physical creature. You can't touch it. It's like a ghost. It's an interdimensional creature that's not three-dimensional. So you can't really have evidence of it, right? I mean, I guess you'd have to capture it on analog film. That's one way. And then if it's interdimensional and flesh and blood, you got that. So what do you think?
About which one? This particular...
Interdimensional Bigfoot.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. It's adding another bizarre element to it. I mean, or another complication to the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Or it explains the elusiveness of the Bigfoot. I don't know.
Rather well.
Yeah, rather well. Yeah. So like it's.
If that's the truth.
Yeah.
Then yes, it's a pretty good explanation.
Because there's so many sightings, but no one's ever kept a body really, except for this supposedly this guy. But
well, the Ketchum study featured quite a few samples. So, by the way, the reason she catches a lot of flack because she thinks she made a statement on the theory. I hope I got the statement correct. That Bigfoot is a mix of angel and human.
Huh.
Or not, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Of the devil and a human. So like a fallen angel or the devil or something. So the father of Bigfoot is some kind of demon, devil, fallen angel, and the mother was a human mother. And I mean, this has some precedent because in Native American legends, there are similar stories of creatures or forest devils, stealing their women. So what do you think about that?
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man. Have you looked into the Bigfoot for a while now? Have you always been into the Bigfoot thing?
I've researched, Bigfoot was one of the big cryptids, so I've always been into cryptozoology. Loch Ness Monster, which might have just been a plesiosaur or something that was extinct. I mean, they found it on radar. The whole psychology behind
The sightings.
the sightings.
Yeah, I find that like I think people find it that more interesting or equally interesting.
Yeah,
than
and
the
also
actual,
the hoaxers and the deniers. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I just find it amusing that people on both sides. There's people that think they're all real.
Yes.
And there's people that think they're all fake, no matter what.
And
they don't
there's
realize
also the psychology behind the hoaxers.
How equally silly it is to have either of those.
But it's interesting. Sometimes they will like a hoaxer is planted or somehow, you know what I mean? Like to develop some kind of skepticism towards the whole thing. Like so that always happens too. Like with the UFOs, like they would sponsor or make up a crazy person to to fake a UFO, and then he would be revealed in the media. Then everyone would be made a fool of. So now the whole thing is not credible anymore. Correct. So it's like
it's so funny, but basic logic would be like, okay, well, that's a hoax. What does that have to do with the other ones? Like if I make fake,
because no one, but the effect on that or the effectiveness of it is that no one likes to be made a fool, or they don't like the feeling of being made a fool because you have that ostracism in effect. So like no one wants to be ostracized from society or from their group of friends, or you know what I mean. Like they don't want to be that guy or that girl. So I don't know. I find that whole thing interesting. I mean, it's I don't go all in on it because I don't know enough. First off, but at the same time,
well, how can you dismiss it if you don't know enough?
So I don't dismiss it completely either. So
it's kind of it's definitely interesting though. But when it's that intertwined with all these ancient cultures, when the Native Americans just talk about it as real and not mythology. You got in all these different areas of the world, so they all made it up. Yeah. Independently. Yeah. That's what you think?
No, I was kind of. I thought you were making statements, and I was agreeing.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's rough. I mean, I'm not saying it's completely impossible that they did all make it up independently, exactly the same story, but it's just I think there's more to it, and we need more information before making.
It's funny. It's funny though, because sometimes like they'll analyze like a village, and a lot of these people, the likelihood of them communicating with each other is not there, right? And so you would think like, man, that's really good evidence right there. Yeah. Like I don't think they talk to each other, especially within that span of time. Like I don't know, it just gives more credibility. I don't know what I'm getting at.
That there's more to it. That writing it off, just completely writing off, Bigfoot's fake. Yeah. Like without actually, it's the whole condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance.
Because you never know. Like one of these days, there could be like a body, like Bigfoot is on TV right now, live and shit. Like, I mean, that's everyone's Bigfoot witness dream. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if you're a witness of Bigfoot and no one believes you and everyone thinks you're crazy, like your dream is to have Bigfoot on national TV or on the internet live. Like,
yeah. Well, that can still be faked.
I mean, well, for me,
can still be faked.
Yeah, I guess, but they'll have exhibits and shit, and you can touch
like
Bigfoot
giants,
or feed them a banana,
like
or
the
something.
giant exhibits in the 1600s.
Yeah. But this time it's gonna be like live for Bigfoot. So that would be cool. I mean, like an exhibit, you can put your finger in it and it bites it off. And
M.K. Davis mentioned a massacre theory where Patterson and Gimlin were allowed to get the video by the U.S. government, and they were exterminating a bunch of Bigfoot, and there was a whole bunch of them, and that's why the Bigfoot in the video has the wound on the leg. They were all being hunted down and killed. Yeah, and so that's why there's fewer Bigfoot sightings, because they were all, most of them were killed. There was a mass extermination. Yeah. So the establishment would never allow the Bigfoot evidence to go public, because it's been announced several times. I think a university in Australia had Bigfoot DNA. There was a Russian university that had a Bigfoot study. They got Bigfoot DNA or Yeti DNA. So like, it's
it's kind of kept hush-hush. So, like, it's the same thing with the Smithsonian and giants, where they just decided to disavow any knowledge of giants. So all the skeletons, they're kept in some kind of warehouse or destroyed, who knows. Same thing with Bigfoot. Like, if there's some kind of weird issue that we don't know about where they can't be made public for whatever reason, then they'll never be made public, even if Bigfoot is real. And I think people don't really look on that side of it a lot of the time.
Yeah, you had an episode on giants, right?
Yeah, we did an episode on giants and titans.
Huh.
That was one of our first episodes.
Was I in that?
Yeah. Maximum power.
Wait, but because I remember seeing this. I don't know if I actually
talked about the Smithsonian and the Giants cover up.
But did you show me a picture of this giant thing in an exhibit or
yeah, I think so. Yeah, we went through
like
a bunch of
it's like 16 feet tall.
Yeah, it was big.
It was crazy.
There's some bigger ones too. I think 28 feet, 30 something.
Oh no, the Japanese one, right? In the parade.
I think that's from a movie.
Oh really?
It might be a real giant. I don't know, but there was a Japanese movie. Yeah, I don't know if that's real.
That's a nice costume, I have to say.
You know, should always be skeptical. Yeah, it's weird because the proportions are all off on the costume.
Huh.
The proportions are weird, and so they did a good job with that. So, I think Johnny Mills actually found the movie that was from. But anyway, so a lot of people, they don't think about it. It's not that easy to just go public with something that the establishment doesn't want public, or it'll be ridiculed. Or they'll just say it's a hoax when it's not, like the ketchup DNA study. If that's a real study, it'll just be, there'll be hit pieces on it. The journals that are going to publish it go out of business. The usual stuff when they don't want that information out there for whatever reason. I know what the other thing is interesting that people don't talk about. There's not that many lethal Bigfoot encounters.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot
about that.
Unless you factor in David Paulides and the Missing 411, where all these, there's thousands of people going missing in national parks.
Oh shit!
If not more.
Really?
Yeah. If Bigfoot is killing them and taking their bodies, then there have been plenty of deadly encounters.
Yeah, right.
But there haven't been.
But you can't really blame it on the Bigfoot.
There haven't been 100% confirmed lethal encounters. I think there was a couple. There was a couple. But normally, the Bigfoot won't kill. So what does that mean? Does that mean it's an intelligent creature, and it knows that would bring more attention to itself?
Yeah.
Or what? Or are they? So in Native America, there's different Native American theories on the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Some theories say that these Bigfoot are benevolent keepers of the forest.
Yeah.
And that they're good.
Yeah. And I, for some reason, I'm imagining villages. And communities of people, kind of like they don't make contact outside their world, and they accept this creature as part of their reality and their community, and they just kind of accept it as part of their life.
Yep.
So like it's never reported outside of their community,
right.
And they just kind of and I think what ends up happening is that it becomes like an urban legend in their community.
But what I was getting at is so some of these describe them as benevolent keepers of the forest and that they're good and that they wouldn't hurt humans. Others describe them again as like either devil spawn or demons or really bad evil things that steal children and women and kill people, and you should stay away from them at all costs, and that's why you don't go in the woods at night.
Yeah.
You stay by the campfire in the village. So, just the way that I thought about it is, again, I think it's very difficult to just make stuff up from scratch. I think all legends and myths have some kind of a root truth to them.
Yeah.
And if not just completely true, because how would we know? But both might be true. So, like, we can make a parallel to, in wartime, like even with the Nazis, let's say. So most of them are bad and they kill people just following orders. But there'll be a couple of good ones that'll kind of go against the orders to save people.
Yeah.
Because there have been a number of cases like that. So is Bigfoot the same way, where the Bigfoot is just naturally an evil creature, but there's certain Bigfoot that go against their nature and help humans?
Yeah.
Or they would
not hurt the humans on principle.
Yeah.
So, do you think that's more likely to be true?
That
They're kind of like people, where even if most of the Bigfoot, even if it's incarnated as an evil being or a demon, it could still, there's certain ones that are good against their nature almost. Does that make sense?
wait, are you saying like, are you going, and I don't mean anything by this, but are you going mystical, like devil, like, is that what you said? Like,
No, I'm saying our Bigfoot.
yeah.
It's okay. It's only the third explanation. The Bigfoot, are they like humans? Forget the devil.
Okay.
I'm just like, they're evil beings, not necessarily demons. So they're just like really mean grizzly bears that want to kill. That's smart.
You're asking me if that's what the most likelihood of most likely.
What do you think about it? That even if they're evil beings in general, that a couple of them could be good against their
okay,
nature.
got it. Okay, okay, and you're asking me if that's what I think is happening.
No, just your opinion on it. What do you think about that? As opposed to saying they're all good or they're all evil, is it more like they're like humanity, where
like humans, like most of with humans, I mean, most of us I think are good, and then there's a few of us that are assholes. So
some people disagree with you on that.
Most of us are assholes. Yeah, so it's a matter of opinion. But I think I see people as mostly good, like 90%. So
I think it's hard to generalize in general. I think there's a lot of
outlook too. I guess because being seeing 90% of the people as good. Man, that's how you get into trouble, because that's how you trust people, and they scam you, they kill you.
50-50 is probably a little bit more
realistic.
Yeah, a little better. But I mean, I think most people are good. It just there's circumstances that drive people to certain measures that make them appear a lot worse than they are. But anyway,
I don't understand the point of your question. Like, you're asking me something that's already hard to know, and then you're asking me. I mean, we haven't even established it. We don't even know if Bigfoot really exists, and then you're gonna ask me do you think that most do you think that only 2 of them are really good, but most of them are evil?
Let's back up. So there have been very few corroborated Bigfoot. Okay. Alleged Bigfoot encounters that ended with a human death. Okay, maybe it was a bear that killed. Who knows? But alleged Bigfoot encounters that ended up in a human death are very rare.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. And I gave you 2 theories. Some Native Americans believe that Bigfoot are benevolent keepers of the forest.
Okay.
They're good. They just want to be left alone.
Right.
Other people believe that they're. When I said demonic or devil spawn, I didn't mean biblical.
Okay, that's what I was confused about.
That's why I cleared that up.
Okay.
So they're just evil monsters, evil beings.
Yes.
Evil
okay, got it. Or just wild animals like lions.
Yeah.
Like a lion.
Or jackals.
You can't judge a lion when they kill you.
Right, but let's look at jackals. Right. So jackals are usually depicted as nasty, mean animals.
Okay.
More so than like a lion.
Okay.
You understand?
Well, I actually didn't know that, but okay, I'll agree with you.
Well, I don't know anything about certain animals are depicted as so-called evil, or they're more mean.
Okay, more aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Like most of these animals can't judge evil versus good.
Because a lion can be aggressive, but it's usually showcased as noble or honorable in some way. Like, it's not going to just kill for the sake of killing. It's going to kill to feed. Whereas jackals or hyenas are also depicted as like a pack of hyenas will descend.
Right.
So that's what I mean with the Bigfoot. If they're an evil type animal,
right.
Are there a few good ones that are going against the overall nature of the species?
Well, from what it looks like, unless your theory about those thousands of missing people in the park, unless that's true, that
It's not my
Bigfoot,
theory.
but Bigfoot is evil or aggressive. But it seems like if all these sightings are true and there were actually creatures like Bigfoot, then most of them, it seems like, are good creatures. They leave people alone and they're not gonna attack people. Or most of them won't attack people unless attacked upon.
The weird thing is a lot of these witnesses don't give that story. They give a story that they felt that they were extremely evil presence. And again, either by infrasound, and again, these creatures could just be, if they're sending an infrasound signal to the human, they could just be doing that to scare the human off. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what they are. But some Bigfoot researchers believe that they're all evil, demonic, whatever. So I was just putting that out there because I don't think it's a popular topic of discussion among Bigfoot and Sasquatch researchers necessarily. I mean, it has been talked about, but even if the entire species, let's say it's true, they are all devil spawn. Would certain Bigfoot be capable of going against their own nature and being good, even though technically their species was designed not to be? That was all I was saying. 5th time's the charm, right?
Okay.
So I just wanted your thoughts on that.
I don't know what to think about it.
But at least you're clear on the hypothesis.
Yeah.
So I think that's very possible because they just don't want. I mean, it all depends. It depends on what kind of creature is it. I mean, we're going crazy deep now. Like, do they have a soul?
They always go back into the soul thing. I don't know. I just kind of like I stay where I am, because yeah.
Does Bigfoot have a soul?
I don't know. Then you have to define soul, and I don't even understand soul. But let's not get into that because we're unless you want to. I don't know. That's kind of your. We're trying to figure out if Bigfoot exists even, like, and then we're putting in souls and shit.
Well, something exists that's been cited that's not a bear.
And let's see if a soul exists in their being.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. It's just okay. Let's add more complexity to the problem.
Well, the whole point is discussion. So.
Yes, of course.
But we could also add this
What
other
if they
question.
cook? Did they cook? You think?
With pots and
Wait,
pans.
actually, yeah. Wait a second. Actually, no, they're just foragers, right? Like
Some witnesses have said they don't wish anybody upon witnessing a Bigfoot because the energy, the malevolence of the energy they felt from it was so extreme. Like they're traumatized for like the rest of their life.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of these witnesses say that?
I don't know about a lot. There are witnesses that have said this. I mean, there's even a few witnesses that said that Bigfoot followed them home and they're kind of haunted by them, like a ghost. Except it's Bigfoot. They play games. They throw rocks at their windows. Like it's kind of like a haunting.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
I remember that. They're kind of messing with him. Like so, they throw rocks at the window. But you never know. Like the Bigfoot might be like curious about this creature in the house. Like what is this structure? That's so weird. Look at that window thing.
I mean, that's true because monkeys throw rocks too.
Yeah, because they're probably looking at that shiny pane of glass. like what is that? And then they throw at it. Is that water on the wall? Like they don't know what that is. I don't know. You never know. So they're probably throwing rocks at it, and then they're thinking maybe, wait a second, that creature walked into that structure, and wait, let me throw rocks at it and see if it comes out. I don't know. Just curious. They're probably just as curious. They're probably just as curious about people that they are.
And if that's the case, then you gotta put them in the neutral animal category.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So going back to our original, how we started this with the interdimensionality of it, that we kind of went into the flesh and blood area for a bit. But, I mean, it is possible it's both, that it comes from another dimension, but it's also possible that they're being used as experiments, so they're being transported unknowingly.
Yeah.
So that not that they have super high intelligence, you know, that's another theory, that they do have super high intelligence. They come to this dimension to hunt humans, but in that case, they probably, unless they're only hunting humans in the national parks, and all those missing people are killed by them, and then they are mostly malevolent. So, this has been a really insane podcast. But we'll leave you with that tonight. A lot of things to ponder about Bigfoot and its possible interdimensional nature. If you want, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. This is Bruce McGuire signing off.
And Maxwell Powers.
Have a good night.